you have the DA saying that this is all artificial, and at the same time, the shortfall really is not with the industry, but with the retailers here. Is the DTI also holding that same opinion here? Do you think that what we're experiencing here is artificial? And at the same time, if that's the case, if the shortfall is in industry players, why then is the price of sugar reaching over 100 per kilo, at least in markets?
So, well, based on the reports that we have, we believe that there is no real shortage of sugar. We still have them available, except that the prices have risen up to 100 pesos per kilo. So the government is now working on bringing down prices to make it available to all consumers.
Okay, and given that as well, like what you mentioned earlier, you now have larger supermarkets here putting a price cap on sugar at 70 pesos per kilo. How soon is this going to take effect? How long are they going to keep this price cap? And what happens if, based on your monitoring, prices are still higher? Will penalties be handed out?
It's already effective. We have the SM chain of supermarkets in Rosie. We have Robinsons and Pure Gold as well. So these large retail chain companies have already started. They have actually rolled out the 70 pesos per kilo of sugar as early as August 19. So it's now available basically in Luzon. So people can start buying 70 pesos of refined sugar per kilo, but we have restrictions as well, which need to be taken note of. There is a purchase limit of 1 kilo per person of sugar at 70 pesos per kilo, and I hope that consumers also will not be surprised to see sugar priced higher than 70 pesos at the same retail stores, because they have certain brands. But they are making sure that 70 pesos per kilo of sugar is also available.
But ma'am, how is this going to affect the smaller players? Like, for example, the ones in public markets, will they be forced to sell cheap the stocks that they have already bought at higher prices?
Well, they will still continue to have their share of the market. Not everybody who buys in supermarkets would also go to wet market or the smaller retail market. So only those who would choose to get sugar at 70 pesos per kilo may go to the retail chains that we mentioned. And then, of course, the market, the patrons of those in the wet market will still continue to be there. It's a consumer choice, actually. If they want to get 70 pesos per kilo of refined sugar, they can go to these stores, the ones I mentioned, SM, Robinsons, and Pure Gold. But if they probably would not mind spending a little bit more, they can continue to buy in other stores like wet markets and other smaller retail stores.
Okay, ma'am, so just to clarify, you're not trying to impose this 70 per kilo on all outlets. It's really just going to be these three. And if so, why is that? Why not make this standard na lang for all outlets?
I'm sorry, I did not get a word. I did not understand it.
Yes. Can you hear me properly, ma'am? Hello?
I can hardly understand the word.
Okay. Danny, maybe
okay, Jess can throw the question,
okay.
Yes.
This time, Danny is asking, why not make it across the board, across all retailers? I mean, considering that, like what you mentioned, this is not, of course, an across-the-board order, that it's just really limited to the three retailers. Why then not at least implement it across the board here, across other retailers as well?
Now, these are the large supply chains that agreed to the request of the president. It's actually a request made by Malacañang to these retailers, and these are the ones that agreed. These are the ones probably who have the facility to be able to do this, and those that observe corporate responsibility. We would say that this is part of their CSR in making sure that consumers would be able to purchase sugar at a lower price. So we do not know if it's going to be a win or lose for them. But what's important is they agreed to the request, the Malacañang prevailed upon them, and it is made available to all consumers.
Okay. Ma'am Chang, if you can hear me again, just a question on why you are now, or the DTI is now going to be monitoring the prices of sugar, which used to be under the jurisdiction of the Department of Agriculture, or have you agreed on the functions when it comes to price stability of sugar between the DTI and the DA?
Over the years, we have began the collaboration with the Department of Agriculture, especially in terms of food security. We have been working together even during the past administration to make sure that we have available supply at reasonable prices that can be bought by consumers. So this is not the first time, actually, that the DTI is working with the Department of Agriculture. If you remember, in 2018, when our inflation rate reached 6% at that time, so immediately the Department of Agriculture and the DTI launched the Presyong Reasonable Dapat program on rice and sugar. We were selling rice, well, retailers would sell rice at that time at 35 pesos per kilo and 50 pesos per kilo for refined sugar. So this is another collaboration project that we're doing now. We understand that sugar is directly under the mandate of the Department of Agriculture, but there is nothing that stops the Department of Trade and Industry to assist, especially that this collaboration project will benefit the consumers.
Ma'am, beverages or sugary beverages are not basic commodities or basic goods with SRPs. But will you or will the DTI be considering monitoring the impact of the prices of sugar on specific types of goods such as beverages?
We have been doing that. We have been monitoring prices and supply of sugar and its impact on other basic commodities. We understand that the industries that are hugely impacted by the shortage, well, the artificial shortage of sugar, are the beverage industries as well as confectionery industries, those who make biscuits and bread that would have sugar as a major ingredient. So, well, there is really nothing that we can do except to make sure that sugar prices are down. And it's probably more a priority for the DTI now to make sugar at a lower price available to consumers instead of the businesses. Well, these are both priorities, yes, but it's more important for us to make sure that consumers would be able to purchase sugar at a lower price. The household consumption is also very important to us.
Okay, speaking of sugar at lower prices, you now have the Undersecretary Panginiban floating the possibility of that going down to as much as 60 pesos per kilo after the discovery again of thousands of stocks in warehouses in Luzon. How possible is that?
Our hope is always for the best for the country. If it is proven that there is artificial sugar shortage, and that there are a lot of other players who just manipulate what's happening right now, I believe that sugar prices can still really go down, maybe to as low as 60 pesos. Hopefully, we can go back to the 50 peso per kilo prices that we had also in 2018. There are a lot of other players that are legitimate and that who just do their best for the country to make this available to us, to all of us as consumers. So we're hoping for the best in this case.
Okay. And ma'am, before we let you go, the DTI last week approved the increase in SRP for the various commodities. Should we be bracing for more price increases? And if so, which products? And of course, with inflation, how much longer are we supposed to be bracing for increases in SRPs?
Not in the next couple of months. We just increased prices of some basic necessities and prime commodities on August 12th. That is the latest publication of our bulletin. So we're not going to do that in the next couple of months. Consumers will have nothing to worry about, and they can be assured that out of the 218 stock keeping units that we have in the bulletin, we allow only 30% of these products to increase their prices at any given publication.